Hello, my name is James Solomon, and for the past 4 years, I've been volunteering as a member of the Finance Committee for the Uptown Entertainment and Development Corporation. And in that 4 years, I've come to realize that once the building is completed, it'll probably serve as an economic hub for the surrounding community. And in that respect, it'll provide opportunities, a lot of opportunities for the younger people to participate in economic activity in the area. But we're talking about the historic Uptown. So when we think about that, we think about the rock and roll shows and the R&B shows that they hosted from the early '50s through the early '70s. And in that respect, we want to also pay attention to the living legends that still live in Philadelphia that showcased the Uptown in its heyday. So before presenting a solution that would take care of both providing opportunities for the young and providing service to the living legends, let me give you a little um, information about my background. I was in a mix of my skills. I was born and raised in Philadelphia, and in a section of the Philadelphia called the Bottom in West Philadelphia. My mother, who came up from the South with an eighth grade education, was a single parent, and when she came up in the early '50s, she was able to find employment as a domestic. And as a domestic in the early '50s, she was able to earn a living wage. And I grew up before I was drafted into the military. We never really had a real problem with expenses because basically I worked since I was age 14. She worked at a low wage job, but the expenses were manageable. Now this is relevant because in today's world, she'd probably, with an eighth grade education, she probably wouldn't be able to get employment that would provide a living wage. So this is the backdrop of some of the things I want to discuss a little later on with respect to the Uptown. Um, as early as I can remember, also I was a storyteller. I mean, with my friends, we would go to see science fiction movies, read comics, and things like that. But they would always come back to me to embellish things and make up stories for them. One of my friend's mothers realized that I had a connection with the kids like that, so she asked me to tutor her son in math. That was like some odd 50 years ago, and he still comes to me and asks me questions about it. Um, this storytelling ability also came in handy a little later on in high school when a fellow came up to me by the name of Eddie Holman and looked at me out of the clear blue sky and said, "You look like a songwriter to me." I said, "Okay." So essentially, I started writing poetry and songs with him, and I've been writing songs ever since. We out of that collaboration for about 3 years, we wound up with two top 100 hits. The most famous being "This Can't Be True" in the early '60s. Okay. Now that brings us back to today. Uh, after high school, I got drafted in the military. I was in the military, and I went to after the military, I went to Cheney State College, where I was the student president for student government for 2 years, and I got a BA in mathematics. And finally, after that, after about when I got out of school, I worked for Social Security for 30 years. The last 10 years, I was a training analyst for Social Security. I'm saying all that to tell you about the things that are relevant to what I want to bring to the table with respect to the Uptown. One of the things that I've come to find out in the past year or so is that things are changing, and um, employment opportunities that used to exist when I was growing up and when most of us grew up no longer exist. And one of the things I found out at a tech meeting recently is that the airport is planning on a large expansion, and there'll be about 100,000 jobs available. But one of the things that I was told with the latest census that 82% of the white children in the city have some type of STEM education, which is science, technology, engineering, and math, whereas only 13% of the African Americans have that. So what I'm proposing is this. One of the things I'm proposing is this, is that boomers get involved with providing that which the current school system is not providing, our opportunities for our kids to learn in these areas. And one of the ways we can get them involved early is to get them involved in coding. Instead of being the consumers of these products, get them involved in coding so they can make some of these products. So what I want to do is start this. I want to work through the Uptown's Got Talent excuse me initiative to recruit youngsters so we can involve them in doing a entertainment calendar. In other words, we would go out to the musicians and the performers that have supported the Uptown and ask them about their schedules and that type of thing, and get submissions about their schedules, and then get the young kids to post them online. We would have young kids also, the people we would be working with, would have the young develop the protocol for contacting them and to involve them on a more direct basis and coming up with the ground rules. Of course, I manage the contacts and that type of thing, but the major thing would be that we would put up a calendar in which the entertainers could submit their dates to us, and we would have a cyclical calendar in which the young people would come in and code and put it online. So we would come up with an online calendar for the entertainers, and we would involve the young with meeting their living legends, the living legends of the city, as well as giving them a skill. So I hope this helps out gives you an idea of what we plan to do. Thank you. Have a good day.